Elite Facts presents
7 disturbing facts and lies about Coca-Cola that they don't want you to know.
7.
Lie. Coca-Cola and raw pork have disturbing results when mixed. Okay, so it's kind of easy to see where this rumor started. This rumor isn't so much about Coke as it's really more about pork, but somehow everyone's favorite soft drink beverage, Coca-Cola, was incorporated into the story. The falsehood goes that pouring Coke over uncooked pork, such as pork chops or bacon, will result in tiny worms coming out of the meat. Yikes, that certainly isn't a pleasing thought. The rumor even goes on to label the creature as tapeworms and explain that Coke will make them move out of the meat since the beverage is toxic to them. I mean, it seems quite believable, doesn't it? This isn't the only version of this myth, however, as other versions of the myth involve drawing an outline around a slab of pork, then pouring Coke over it to observe the pork moving on its own beyond the lines. It didn't stop there, as a fake video of the supposed phenomenon helped spread the rumor even further and caused a countless number of people to swear that they would never eat pork again. Can you honestly blame them? That video looked very legitimate in terms of showing the reaction between pork and Coke. It's not exactly a pleasant sight for viewers' eyes. The truth, however, is that pork is normally free of worms, unless larvae grow on it after the pork, or any meat actually, is exposed to flies that could lay their eggs on them. So although this reaction could potentially happen if you had a tainted slab of pork, it won't happen to you thanks to strict guidelines set by the USDA.
6.
Lie. Never mix Coke and aspirin, ever. Okay, so here's an early rumor that kept everyone weary about the effects of Coke. In the early 1930s, a doctor from Illinois requested the Journal of American Medical Association to inform the public that teenagers were putting aspirin into their Cokes because doing so resulted in an intoxicating beverage that eventually resulted in addiction. But the truth of the matter is that the man's claim was found to be baseless. His letter was set aside. For some reason, though, the rumor gained traction, and soon it was accepted by several as true. Some even claiming to have experienced the Coke aspirin effect for themselves. Of course, news of the supposedly accessible drug spread like wildfire. Eventually, some parents would attempt to stop their children from trying the concoction, going as far as to tell their children that drinking Coca-Cola with aspirin could kill a person. Of course, also a lie.
5.
Pesticides discovered in Indian Coca-Cola. Back in 2003, the Center for Science and Environment, CSE, of New Delhi discovered that the water used by Coca-Cola in the production of their beverages in India contained toxic pesticides that had the potential to cause cancer and the breakdown of a person's immune system. More specifically, Coca-Cola's beverages were found to contain 30 times the amount of pesticide permitted under EU regulations. The company responded angrily at those accusations and denied all of them. Even with the Coca-Cola company responding, it still saw a massive 11% drop in its sales. Regarding water supplies, several lawsuits, including those in Kerala, Plakimata, and Varanasi, have been brought against Coca-Cola in India for aggravating the water scarcity situation and degrading the water supply. None of the cases, however, have been decided against the company with finality. Nevertheless, Coca-Cola has admitted that it takes an average of 3.12 liters of water to create a liter of Coke. Fun fact, did you know that Coke and Pepsi are used as pesticides in India because it's cheaper?
4.
Cocaine was a main ingredient. We've all at some point made the joke in regards to Coca-Cola being cocaine or being related to the aforementioned drug in some way, shape, or form. Well, as it turns out, cocaine was the secret ingredient once upon a time ago. Way back in 1885, Coca-Cola was so named because of 2 of its ingredients, cola nuts and coca leaves. In the use of liquid extract from the coca leaves, it was inevitable that at least a small amount of cocaine was included in Coke until the substance was altogether eliminated in 1929. As a matter of fact, once again going back to the late 19th century, in 1891, when discussions about the negative aspects of cocaine were beginning, the makers of Coke wanted to distance themselves from the ingredient altogether. In doing so, they got rid of coca leaf extract as an ingredient altogether. However, they were worried that it wasn't right for the product to be named Coca-Cola without at least a little coca leaf in it. Nevertheless, even when the product did still contain some cocaine, it was only in such a small amount that it couldn't have possibly caused any significant effects in consumers.
3.
Martin Luther King called for a boycott against Coca-Cola the day before he died. Oh boy, conspiracy theories, our favorite. Now, okay, before we go further and you all get the wrong impression, what happened to Martin Luther King Jr. was a travesty. He was a great man. With that out of the way, how could we not mention this strange coincidence? Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, "I've Been to the Mountaintop," was delivered on April 3rd, 1968, and is best known for how King seemed to foresee his impending assassination, which indeed took place the very next day. So that alone is pretty eerie. What isn't often mentioned about the lengthy speech is that in it, he uttered the following line. And so, as a result of this, we are asking you tonight to go out and tell your neighbors not to buy Coca-Cola in Memphis. It's no secret that King was an advocate for the boycott of white goods as a non-violent means of protesting against racist businesses. At the time this speech was given, it was reported that white workers at Coca-Cola plants were getting paid a much higher wage than their black colleagues, while it was the latter who were being made to stay long hours and do the difficult work. That practice seemed to continue many years later, as in November of 2000, Coca-Cola agreed to pay a large group of minority employees $192.5 million to settle a class-action racial discrimination suit brought against the company. Today, however, Coca-Cola is one of the leading companies in terms of the diversity of its workforce.
2,
Coke can dissolve a tooth overnight. Okay, so we all know that soft drinks aren't healthy for your teeth at all. It's common knowledge. However, this little fact is kind of disturbing to think about if you're a long-time Coke drinker. Now, we're not entirely sure where this myth about Coca-Cola began, but it's one that we can imagine a mother telling her children to stop them from drinking the carbonated beverage. Again, it's common knowledge that Coke is bad for your teeth, but is it really so bad that you have to tell little Billy that he'll have to gum all of his food if he doesn't cut down on the soda? Well, in a way, yes. However, there is a record of someone giving testimony on the falsehood during a 1950 committee hearing at the U.S. House of Representatives. More specifically, Cornell University's Clive McKay told American congressmen that the sugar in Coke caused cavities and that leaving a tooth in a glass of Coca-Cola for 2 days would result in the tooth being dissolved. In rebuttal, Coca-Cola's top chemist, Orville May, correctly explained that anything that contained phosphoric acid and sugar, including fresh orange juice, would dissolve teeth after some time, but definitely not in 1 or 2 days. Furthermore, May correctly pointed out that people do not hold food and beverages in their mouths for hours, let alone for days, thus making the tooth in a glass of Coke example a grossly misleading one. So, technically, this would be something that Coca-Cola would want you to know. Oh, well, at least you can drink all the Coke you want now.
1,
H2 No campaign. Okay, so this one is just crazy. Back in early 2000, Coca-Cola decided to go to war with water. Like, we're not even kidding. They lobbied against H2O because, well, why not? Coca-Cola was exposed for running the H2 No campaign and attempted to dissuade diners from ordering tap water drinks at restaurants and instead go for their profitable beverages like bottled water, non-carbonated beverages, and, of course, soft drinks. That's right, Pepsi, watch your back. You will be eradicated. So yeah, Coca-Cola were essentially doing what a certain group were doing during a certain time period in German history. The U.S. campaign involved teaching waiters to use suggestive selling techniques to offer numerous alternative beverages when customers asked for water. For obvious reasons, Coca-Cola had meant to keep the campaign a secret from the public, but a graphic designer in Sacramento discovered an article entitled "The Olive Garden Targets Tap Water and Wins" on the Coca-Cola online public relations portal. He would then post a link to the whole story on his website. It wouldn't take long for several mainstream news outlets to swarm the story and report on it. As expected, Coca-Cola was widely criticized for the campaign. And that's our list. Did we leave any out? Let us know in the comments below. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.